everyone, so today I am doing a Q&A, a question and answer to your questions. I haven't done one of these in forever, what seems like forever. I don't think I've done one, I don't think I did one all last year, which is mad. Because I like doing things because it feels like we're having interaction, and I love interaction and engagement with you guys. So I always try and answer your questions on Twitter, on Instagram, but sometimes it's nice just to answer them in a video, in a collective way. And I'm also going to answer a few that, well, I'm going to pick 10 questions, but 10 being ones I've never answered before, or I've seen come up a lot on videos and certain things like that. So I literally just put a picture up on Instagram 20 minutes ago and was like, just ask me some questions. So let's see if we have questions. Do we have questions? We have some questions. Let's roll. Brighton My Days asks, what's your most memorable moment with a subscriber? So I don't know if I've talked about this before. Actually, I'm going to mention two. I love meeting you guys. It means the absolute world. I meet you here, there and everywhere. I meet you in different countries, or I meet you just at my local shop, or I just absolutely love meeting you guys. I love it when you come up to me and say hey. I love when I notice someone's like because it's not me being like really like yes, but me being like, because I don't know, I'm just this little fart just hanging around. So when someone recognises me and I can see that, that makes me feel really, really like special and happy, and I love always chatting with you guys. So one of them happened when I was in Boots and I was holding Rupert, and I was just shopping for makeup bits, as you do when you're in Boots, and this girl, she's called Rosie, was with her mum, and I mean, if I've got Rupert and I'm holding him, I often hear like, oh wow, a pug, or like, oh look, so cute, or oh, his little jumper, that kind of thing, which is always really cute. But this time, this girl said, oh, there's a pug. Zoella has a pug, but it's black, but Becca Rose has a pug and it's that colour. And I turned around and I was like, hey. And she was really like she looked really, really, really scared and surprised, and her mum, I was like, it's me, and her mum was like, no way. So Rosie, if you're watching, that was one of the most memorable moments of meeting a subscriber. I thought that was really, really sweet. The fact that she said, oh, Becca's got one of those, and then I turned around and it was in fact me, and she looked absolutely terrified. I may as well have been Donald Trump. So that was really memorable just because it was really unexpected. It's unexpected that I hear my name being said in public if it's not like a meet-up, or it's, do you know what I mean? It's really unexpected to hear my name. And then the second one that I find really memorable happened at the end of last year, and I was literally waiting outside a venue for a meeting, and I've been waiting outside for quite a while. I was pretty cold, I was pretty like someone came up to me, and I thought it was actually the person I was meeting for my meeting, because I'd never met them before. This is often the case with PRs, you don't know what they look like. So I was like, hi. Turns out she was called Alice. She was an absolutely lovely subscriber. She also has a blog herself, which I'm going to leave down below, because she was just one of the most sweetest people ever, hence why it's one of the most memorable moments with a subscriber. And I was feeling pretty low about my online life and a bit low about my YouTube channel, and it's not going anywhere. This was at the time, I mean, the algorithm and view count is still all off, but it was quite new at that point that that was happening, and I was like, no one cares anymore, no one wants to watch my videos anymore, there's no point, I'm rubbish, I'm not as good as blah, just a lot of negativity floating around my head. And she couldn't have come at a better time. She was so lovely, she was so supportive. She literally riled off a load of things of mine that she loved. She explained why I inspired her, why I motivated her, and that was just what I needed to hear, and it was so lovely. So Alice, if you're watching this, thank you so much. As soon as I got home, I phoned my mum and I was like, I met the subscriber and she was so lovely and I feel so much better now, and it was just really nice to actually hear those words come out of an actual viewer's mouth. It was just absolutely lovely. So that was a long answer. Jess asks, I hear you talk about your illnesses a lot. What exactly do you have? Okay, so I wanted to answer this one because correct, I say, oh, I'm ill this morning, or if you see me vlogging and I haven't vlogged much that day, or I just say, oh, I've not been very well, that kind of thing. And sometimes I don't like talking about it because I have in the past had people disbelieve me or say, well, if you've got this, how come you can do this, and that kind of thing. As you know, with vlogs or tweets or anything like that, that's a split second of a day, that's 10 minutes of someone's day, and you can't, I mean, you don't see me all day every day, so we can't really use that as an excuse, people. So I have ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome. So if you want a scientific explanation, then you can look that up, but in layman's terms and terms that everyone will understand, my muscles don't work properly, I have imbalances, I have very weak muscles, and I have to sleep a lot. Can we stop chewing on this bone, please? He's really annoyed now. It is a lot better than it used to be. A couple of years ago I was completely housebound. I had to do my GCSEs and A-levels at home. I had to, like, there's just so many things. I've been in a wheelchair because I just couldn't physically walk. There's been times when I haven't woken up for like 48 hours just because I'm so asleep. There's times when everything just feels like it's on fire. There's times when I moved my fingertips and that was a achievement. So that's ME. It's horrible, and it's absolutely awful. A lot of my friends I've met through ME groups or fibromyalgia and things like that. It's blooming horrible, and I am so grateful that for me it's eased off. I still, like, when I'm out and about, my friends know I will have to sit down a lot, or I will have to get the bus up Oxford Street, or I can't stay out too late, or just things like this, little things that people notice. By no means has it gone, but by no means is it as bad as it used to be. I do get quite a few messages still saying, I have ME, what did you do to help? And to that, I pushed myself, and that's not always the best thing to do. There's a lot of people with ME that have also pushed themselves or attempted to push themselves, and it backfires. It doesn't always backfire, obviously, but it backfires, or they relapse into a worse state of ME than before. For me, luckily, I kind of was able to push through. Some days I have my really bad days. So for example, I had 48 hours in Paris, which was absolutely amazing. I had the absolute best time, but then 3 days, for the 3 days afterwards, I've been in bed all day. Today is the second day that I've actually like got up and done things, because it just completely finishes me for a few days. So I've got ME. I technically have epilepsy, but it's completely under control, and I haven't had a seizure in about 2 years. So that's brilliant. So I have epilepsy. I have, when talking about mental illness, it's really frustrating for me because, and so many other people as well, because this is where people are like, you clearly don't have this because you can do this, or you've just listed every illness under the sun and blah 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 blah. I have been diagnosed, and they're all anxiety disorders. So I've been diagnosed with, and I'm on medication for these, as well as the other 2 illnesses. So at the beginning it was severe anxiety disorder, and I mean, we're talking extreme sweat and hand wringing and not leaving the house and not speaking, couldn't physically talk. I also have OCD, which I'd say out of anxiety, OCD and the next thing I'm going to talk about, this is the highest thing I'm affected by at the moment, is OCD. My daily rituals are it's so time consuming, and it just takes over, and it's so frustrating, and people get annoyed, and my friends make jokes, which is fine. Like I have to make jokes, otherwise like I'd drive myself insane, and some of the things I do, it's so irrational. And OCD is just you have to do these rituals in fear of not doing them even. It's really hard to explain, and I have these things and habits that I just, yeah. that's my biggest like the prominent illness right now, mental illness right now. And the other thing I've been diagnosed with is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, where you've had a trauma in the past and now you are living with the effects of it. So I have night terrors and I have all this kind of thing. I'm not going to talk about said trauma period of life because I don't want to. But yes, those are what's going on. But yeah, lots of it is under control, which is fabulous. I've learned so many techniques, I've had therapy, and everything is fine. Things are under control. But yes, as I said, you may see a tweet me saying, oh, I'm off to London, and you may think, wow, I've got anxiety and I just couldn't go to London. You don't see any more tweets for the rest of the day maybe because I'm struggling. It's a long battle and I don't need to justify these things, and neither does anyone really. You can all speak to my doctor or therapist if you would like. You can't really, that's illegal. Jodie asks, if you could only eat one type of food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Okay, drop the mic. It would be potato. Any form of potato. We're going with mash, we're going with chips, we're going with crisps, we're going with potato waffles, we're going with jacket potato, roast potato, new potato. I love potato. Pretty easy date. Just take me to Nando's and get me some mash. Natty asks, how do you stay motivated when working from home? So this is something that I have, like, the thing with me is I literally went from sixth form to this, so I've never actually had a typical job. I've never worked 9 to 5, I've never been in an office, I've never been in a work environment, so I have nothing to compare it to. I've spoken with friends that have gone from a work environment to working from home to going full-time blogging, that kind of thing. I have nothing to compare it to. This is all I know, but I completely understand lack of motivation. Like the other day, I woke up and I was like, I don't want to. I want to watch Dance Mums in bed. But then you have to think, this is my job, this is what I do. I'm so lucky to have this job, and I'm so lucky to be able to choose my own hours. I'm so lucky to do it in the comfort of my own home for most days, and all that good stuff. My friend Hannah, I'm going to leave her blog down below. She's done a few amazing posts about motivation and working from home. I'm sure she can answer much better than I can. But something I will say that's really helped is one of her advice points was to wear shoes. Now you might be like, what? But have you ever noticed, like, when you are working, say, in a work environment, you're wearing shoes, obviously, you're not at home, and it makes the world of difference. It's such a small thing, but wear shoes. It's because you feel like you're not lounging, and always get dressed, always set an alarm to wake up at a certain time. Obviously I have a dog, so I can walk him, and then I feel ready and awake after my brisk morning walk. Have a drink on your desk, but wear the shoes. It just makes such a difference. Lee asks, who is your favourite music artist of all time? I am going to have to go with Lady Gaga. I absolutely adore Lady Gaga for her music, for her way of life, for her morals, and just how she is. And we all know, it's no secret, that she's saved millions of people's lives with certain songs of hers. She's saved so many people. She speaks to so many people. Like, a lot of us people can relate to her music and to her lyrics and to her songs. I just love it. You can't go wrong with Gaga. It's Meg the Egg. Love it. What job would you like to have done if you didn't do YouTube? So I actually studied on the sidelines, and I have a qualification in mental health and psychiatry and counselling skills, so something in that area. But as a lot of you know, I'm working on that side of things at the moment. I'm going back to my high school, I'm working with the student support officers there, I'm doing assemblies, and I'm going to be teaching some PSE lessons as well, all about confidence and self-esteem and that kind of thing. So I'm so excited to be utilising that and working on that kind of thing, because that means an absolute lot to me. If you could own any shop, what would it be? And that was asked by Sprinkle of Fun. See, part of me wants to say like Tesco, and then I could eat all the food, or like Anthropology, so I could have all the homeware, or design the homeware. I really enjoy homeware. So yeah, maybe like a homeware store, or a food shop, or a cupcake shop, or Topshop Oxford Circus, because it has like all of that involved. Sophie asks, why did you call your dog Rupert? So I called him Rupert because he was a little chunker. I've got him here now, but I can't take him away from his bone because he will be very cross. He was a little chunky bear. He looked like a bear. It was either going to be Arthur or Rupert, and I went with my sister to go and see, and we called him both names, but Rupert just fitted, and we were like, it's got to be Rupert. And here's my little world. Guys, I'm actually going to leave it there. I don't think I answered 10, but I've been talking for 20 minutes. Obviously, I'm going to be able to edit this just a little, but 20 minutes of chat. So, let me know in the comments below if you want me to do more Q&As. If so, I feel like my technique just now wasn't the best because I've literally just said 10 minutes before I filmed this video, leave a comment on this Instagram picture, and I don't think that was a good thing to do because not everyone will have seen that. But I just wanted to film one, and I thought that those questions were a good bunch. Obviously a lot of questions about my illnesses, a lot of questions about my job and all that kind of thing. So I hope you enjoyed my little Q&A. Definitely let me know, as I said, if you want more of these, and if so, where to ask for those questions, and any like normal questions you just leave down below and I'll answer those for you. And yeah, give this video a big fat thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video.